Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Time and Space, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Jessica Nunn.
And I'm her husband and co-host, Phillip Gilfus. Well, this week we're going to do something a little bit different, but we're still going to talk about Doctor Who.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing questions from a hat. Ooh.
Okay. I did wonder why you had that hat with weird things in it.
Yeah, it summons spells. So, we're going to take turns drawing a question and asking the other person their Doctor Who fandom questions.
Okay.
So you go first.
All right. You put a lot of work in this. Which Doctor era would you like to visit the set of for an episode recording?
Well, I think it would be probably from the New Who era. And I guess I'm probably a little... goes to the same thing of my favorite Doctor, but I think it'd be fun to go during the 11th Doctor era with Karen and Arthur, because it'd be fun. You know, they're all the same age. They like to have fun, and so I think it would be a fun set to visit.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. What about you? Do you have any strong opinion?
No, I would have gone with the same thing, probably.
Okay, so easy enough.
Easy enough.
All right, here's mine. Question for you. This is about New Who. Do you like three-parters in New Who? So, yeah, I'm trying to think of some examples, but, you know, the 10th Doctor era would have, I think, his second series finale with the Prime Minister. I think that was 3 parts. You'll have the 13th Doctor, the 12th Doctor had some 3 parts. But anyway, do you like 3-part stories, or do you think 2-parters is enough in New Who?
I prefer 2-parters, but, you know, if the story's interesting... I don't mind it.
Uh-huh. So I know a lot with the classic Who that we watch has a lot of parts.
Yeah, and that I'm not crazy about.
But these are a perfect number, you think?
I think 2 is the loneliest
number.
Is
yep.
that
did
I do that right? Yeah. Okay. All right, my question is, home of the free... Oh, no, that's the back of the sheet. Okay, here we go. Baby, I can't read your handwriting. Okay, you have to get rid of one of the following forever. Daleks, Cybermen, Silurians, or Sontarans.
I think, even though I know he's one of your favorites, I could do without Sontarans. I don't think they bring a lot to, you know, the dumb Klingons of Doctor Who.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Sontarans as a general rule, meh, but...
I mean, that's your guy.
Our Sontaran.
Yes. Sontaran, ha.
Yeah,
but
him I like.
I mean, to be fair, they haven't been explored fairly often. You know, we watched the first one recently with the Third Doctor, the first appearance of Sontarans, I mean. And we, you know, the New Who with Strax. I was trying to think of his name, Strax.
Yes. Oh, well done. Strax I'd keep. The rest of them.
One appeared in Sarah Jane. And then there was a 10th Doctor one I'm thinking of, because it was like with the rich kid. And he had, you know, this anyway. But I mean, I guess unless you're going to do something different with them, which I guess is what we say about all of them, but I guess so far they haven't really done much. So
yeah, I'm going to go with the Cybermen.
Okay.
Just yeah.
Delete.
Yeah, they just don't do a lot for me. And the old ones kind of creep me out. Sock puppets.
Well, this is fairly simple. But anyway, who's your favorite New Who Doctor and why?
It's tough. I think it's probably the 11th, with the 10th coming in a close second.
And why for?
And why for? Well, that's where. But anyway, I think because I like his energy and I like his goofiness, and that appeals to me as the Doctor. It feels a little bit alien, but also comfortable, I guess. So, yeah, he's my favorite. How about you?
Well, you brought up 10 as being second place.
Yes, yeah. Just because I think he's interesting. And I think ultimately for me it comes down to the storylines as well.
We just have better stories, you think?
Yeah, a little bit. What about you?
I'd say for now 11. I agree. I think, yes, just because he's funny but alien, and then just the way Matt plays that of, obviously he's very young as an actor, but he plays that old doctor very well, the mysterious doctor, and then also a little bit dangerous, the doctor who lies, because he's always very light about everything and funny about everything, but there is a little bit of darkness there that he keeps. So, and then even he's humorous about the darkness at times. I think one of my, I don't say my favorite episode, I'll say favorite concept if I can say that, because I don't know if it's my favorite episode, but I liked the Amy's Choice, where I forget what the villain called himself, and I'm trying to think of the actor that played him, but anyway, the Dream Doctor, whatever he called, the Dream Master, the Night, whatever, where they had the two dreams that Amy was in, and Amy had to choose which one was the dream, which was reality. But anyway, I like that the part that's actually we find out at the end, that's actually the Doctor projecting himself and his fears. So this villain who's been torturing Amy and everyone is the Doctor, and I just think that's interesting, exploring that, where he comes from there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Ooh, what episode would you use to introduce someone to the 10th Doctor?
To the 10th Doctor. Yeah, because I feel like, you would think the answer would be the first one with the Christmas invasion.
Oh, but then you don't get to see him much in that.
Because, I mean,
he's unconscious for the majority of it.
Because I'm assuming, I wrote the question, so I can assume, that you're sort of no one who knows anything about Doctor Who, but you're choosing to start with the 10th Doctor, and then which would you choose to introduce it? I'm trying to remember, what was the first proper episode of the Doctor, or 10th Doctor, and I'm blanking on it in my head. But maybe one of the Christmas specials? I don't know, I'm blanking on him and Rose's season for some reason, I can't think of any of them. It's not an in-order episode, in which usually I would recommend doing an in-order episode, either a first episode of a season, even if you're not going to pick Doctor and Rose, at least pick the first Doctor and Martha, or a Christmas special. But I think one that just shows the possibilities, even though it's going to spoil a little bit about introducing Donna. The Fires of Pompeii, is that the name of the episode? Yeah. But anyway, I just think that explores who the 10th Doctor is, because he's, trying to solve this mystery, and then at the end, it's revealed, well, in order to, instead of defeating the monsters, he has to blow up the volcano, and that means, killing everyone in Pompeii that he's not going to be responsible for. And I think, not that it's always there, but the sort of Time Lord victorious, the last of the Time Lords, the 10th Doctor, he doesn't have that darkness of the 9th Doctor, but it's kind of there, I think, during his time as the 10th Doctor, of that role of what does it mean to be the last of the Time Lords, and what responsibilities does he have, and, because he eventually meets the Master and all that stuff. But so yeah, I would say Fires of Pompeii is a good episode, and then it kind of shows you the character of the 10th Doctor.
Okay. And I think, for me, it depends on whether you're introducing the 10th Doctor or Doctor Who full stop.
Well, what would be your two choices?
Well, I think if it's Doctor Who full stop, I almost want to go with Blink.
Okay, he's not in it.
Exactly. I mean, he is a little bit, but it's a lovely exploration of the show.
You don't think it's going to set people false?
I don't think so.
So he's not usually in most episodes. No, he is.
No, because it's just a good episode. But if it's the Doctor, I agree. I'm going to go with the Donna episode. I'm going to go with Donna's first return episode.
Yes. I can't remember off the top of my head, but basically where they run into each other.
Yeah.
With the adipose.
Yes, I think you might be right. Yeah, because the adipose are cute, and that's a fun one to do. So, yeah, but again, a Donna episode, so I'm with you.
Okay, I'm choosing the next one here. Oh, this is interesting. What Doctor, besides the 3rd Doctor, belongs best with Unit? So, a recent purchase I've made was the, I don't know what it's officially called. Basically,
the Unit dolls.
Yeah, the Unit action figure. So you get the Brigadier, Sergeant Benton, and Captain Yates in sort of their camo gear, their khakis, whatever. So I sort of have it set up over there with the 3rd Doctor, and Katie Manning.
Joy. Not Joey.
No.
Something with a J, isn't it?
I think so. I don't know why. We're terrible.
I know.
We're terrible people.
We really are, because we really like her, and we cannot hold her name in our head.
But Katie Manning's character, who everyone knows and is shouting right now, but just we're having brain farts.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And thanks for shouting the answers out at us.
Exactly.
We
can almost hear
appreciate it. Yeah.
You should shout louder.
We're close.
So, which one would be good with unit?
Joe.
Joe. Yes, Joe Grant.
I knew it was Joey.
Yeah.
I was
You're
very,
close.
very close.
You're adding in an extra letter.
Yeah.
4, 5, no, 6 maybe, 7. I'm going to do this whole in my head. Ward Doctor, 2 on the nose. 8, maybe. I'm going to say 8, maybe 9.
Oh, the 8th would be
10,
interesting.
11, 12. 12 hate soldiers, so it'd be weird, too bad. 13.
The 11th would be a lot of fun.
So I'm going to say 8th Doctor. 8th Doctor is going to
Okay.
be my answer. I think, he's not anti-soldier like some of the later Doctors or guns. I mean, they're all anti-gun, but, some are more so than others. Because, the 13th Doctor, even she's been a little, and I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, but I'm saying as the character, they're very, anti-gun. And, in the set, literally every one of the unit's people are holding guns. And so, but I think the 8th Doctor, he's sort of that middle ground where there are things he'd disagree with how they do things, but he'd still work with them very well. And, I think that's the 8th Doctor. Do you have any?
Yeah, I'm going with 7th.
Okay, so you think...
because I think it'd be a lot of fun for Ace.
She'd keep picking up the big guns.
They'd keep trying to get her to put them down, and yeah.
Who do you, when we've recently, on our 3rd Doctor, seen the betrayal of Captain Yates, but before that...
Which is useless.
Yeah, so before that, who do you think Ace would get along... I'm not saying romantically or anything, but I'm saying who do you think she would get on with? Because presumably she'd either hang out with Benton or Yates,
Oh, yeah, but I think that...
Maybe Benton.
No, I think that the head guy... Brigadier, sorry. My brain today. Mm-hmm. I think that the Brigadier would have a real soft spot for her.
Uh-huh.
So, I think they would be the...
Because she'd be the one asking a lot of questions, and he'd be more than happy to educate her.
Yes, in a very gruff way that,
I don't have time for this, but sure.
Yeah, and he would call her Miss, whatever her real name is.
Yes. I don't know, Dorothy. I feel like I know that.
Yeah, Dorothy.
Well, I don't know her last name.
No, but he'd call her Miss Dorothy or something like that, and yeah. But I think that they'd have a real fondness for each other. I think that'd be lovely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What episode do you think about the most?
What episode do you think about the most?
That's for you.
Oh, I thought I just picked the unit one.
You did.
And I answered it for you.
Yeah.
Okay. What episode do you think about the most? Well, that's an easy answer. It's Vincent and the Doctor.
Oh,
I think it's my favorite episode. I don't know. But anyway, certainly one I'd be top 5, because then I'd have to think about whether it is or not. But it's certainly one I think about the most, because I think it's an interesting exploration where, the usual monster of the week is there, but it's almost sort of like, we just have to have one, so there you are. But that's not our story. Our story is about just Vincent van Gogh in general, and I think that's an interesting exploration of a character. And obviously, also dealing with the ending, because obviously Doctor Who plays with historical characters a lot. Sometimes it's just sort of used as sort of adding a little cherry on top of the monster story. It's like, we're fighting monsters, but there's also, Amelia Earhart or something, But we don't really get to the historical character that much. What's their meaning? What do they really add to that story? It's kind of like with Tesla.
That's what I was thinking the same thing.
How much are we exploring his life and his meaning? And I mean, I'm not saying they didn't do it in that episode, not to pick on that one in particular, but I think with Vincent van Gogh, it was sort of explaining that character. And not only exploring his character, but then knowing his tragic ending. You still have the tragic ending. You're not going to change that, but dealing with what to do with that. Because it's, as a audience member, you want to, usually want a happy ending or a satisfying ending, but there's not one, because you know what's going to happen. He kills himself. That's what happens. That's his life. But framing that in a different way, that there were good days, and he was good to be around sometimes, and there's this genius in the art and how he saw things, and I think that gives meaning to something. So I think even the historical details of where the black and white textbook, this is the historical explanation, a person's life can obviously be more than that, and I think that's what that does.
And the idea that his mental health doesn't define him.
Right, yeah, no one's ever defined by the best thing or worst thing that they do. That there's people, but their point of view, I think, is what makes it interesting, at least for Van Gogh. Van Gogh. I have to do the F sound. And so, whereas in America, it's just Van Gogh. So, yeah, that was mine.
Yeah, I would agree. That one's one I think about a lot. Blink still.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's such a beautifully constructed episode that I really like it.
I did throw a question away, yes. All right, so this was a question for you. What set of companions, so this is, it could be 1, 2, 3, whatever you want. Oh, I know what I think I meant. What set of companions? So this is, and again, I write these questions so I can interpret them. What set of, a defined, you can't mix time eras. So yeah, a set of companions has to be a different era of the Doctor. What set of companions would be best for the War Doctor? So in other words, like the second Doctor's companion, the fourth Doctor, you have to include them all as a set.
Right.
Or even it's just one person, so, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The War Doctor companions, what would be a good set for him?
War Doctor companions be?
Or companion.
Yeah. I kind of want to put the 10th Doctor's companions in there.
Just all of them?
Well, isn't that what you said we had to do?
Well, yeah. I mean, in other words, like, you couldn't put, like, oh, I want Adric and Bill Potts. You know, it has to be...
Yeah. Oh, Bill Potts would be interesting with him. I was thinking Martha.
Okay.
Particularly, and specifically.
It'd be a very interesting combination of, not that every story of his would have to be the Time War, but presumably they would be. But she, almost is sort of she's a doctor. I'm not trying to downplay her part, depending on when she got her in her era, medical student / doctor. But she's sort of the medic to the military guy. The War Doctor's out there fighting the fight, and she's the one trying to correct the damage.
But also being a little bit of a warrior herself.
Right.
But I think her medical background would give the War Doctor compassion when he needs it, which might be interesting.
Yeah, because I think the one thing that's interesting to explore with the War Doctor is, he drank the warrior drink and doesn't want to be the Doctor, or it's interesting because in the Big Finish, he doesn't consider himself the Doctor. In the 50th, I'm trying to remember, does he not consider himself the Doctor, or, because it's into, something, the Doctors don't consider him the Doctor, which is the same thing, because he is, we get into that, the Doctors don't consider him the Doctor because he himself,
But then it becomes a place. Yeah. At what point did he consider himself no longer a Doctor? Was it while he was actually doing it, or was it in retrospect after his regeneration that he turned his back? Which is an interesting question.
Because then it's if he is the warrior, what could bring him back to that? But yeah, I think Martha would be a good choice.
Yeah, thanks. Bill Potts would be fun too.
I think so too.
All right. What series, your handwriting, baby, what series had the best finale? Now, do you mean
yes,
which Doctor to regenerate, or which that particular season?
Yeah, that particular season.
Okay. To use the American version.
Exactly. And so I'm going to use New Who, because Classic Who didn't necessarily think finale for seasons. They just had whichever story is last. And people can disagree, but that's how I'm answering it. So, out of the 13 series? Anyway, in my head. And it's I'm going to try to avoid picking a regeneration ending, because I feel like it's almost cheating in a way. I mean, you have one's out, then 2, Master. I don't think it's my favorite, though. Right now, I'm thinking about the, Martha, Captain Jack, Journey's End, I guess. Let me think about the 11th and 12th and 13th. 13th Doctor, obviously, none of those series. We like 13, but her series are not great for the endings. 12th Doctor, again, Clara's not usually our biggest fan, so Bill never had the finale, and that's the regeneration. 11th Doctor, I'm trying to remember what some of them were.
I know. I'm not going to be able to answer.
But I think that's the answer. I mean, there's the Pandorica Opens. I remember that.
I liked that one.
Then there's the ending the River time breaks.
Astronaut.
Well, yeah, the finale is with River breaking time, and he's the philosopher, and he's on the train
on
and
the
pyramids.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, the wedding of River Song. Yeah. So the one that comes to mind, what I'm saying, is probably Journey's End. That's the one with the 10th Doctor basically having all of his companions together because the Earth gets moved.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And so just because you have that whole cult, you have Captain Jack, you have Rose, you have Martha, you have Donna, you have everyone, Sarah Jane, you have Torchwood. Everything comes together. All the spin-offs come into this. I thought it was well done with all the spin-offs coming together that existed at that point. So I'll say Journey's End was my favorite.
Okay.
It's like two parters, but that's the name of one of those.
Yeah. See, and you're better at this. I couldn't pick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily keep up with, the series ended. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I got nothing. All right. Who would be the worst Doctor to travel with?
Well, 6 isn't the first one that comes to mind, but let me think about it for 2 seconds. Probably 12, I think. If I'm allowed to pick 2, I'll say 6 and 12. Now, of course, you also say, Phillip, pick your least favorite Doctors. But I guess that's also why, because it's a personality thing. Because, 12th Doctor, if he ever finds out I was in the army, he's not going to like me.
Oh, poor you.
Exactly. But, yeah. Because I think he's just going to insult you the whole time.
Possibly. You can handle it.
I don't think he likes men.
Interesting. Okay.
I can't think of any guys he got along with.
Nor at all.
He insulted him the whole time.
Well, yeah, but that's different. I insult you all the time.
Yeah, but you're cute.
Well, there is that.
And then 6th Doctor, same way. He's just going to insult you the whole time and think you're stupid.
Yeah, not a big fan of 6. I'd go with 1. What a curmudgeon. He'd drive me batty.
Mm-hmm.
And,
and he mispronounced your name?
Obviously.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just, no. No, thank you.
Right. You do. I think you'd look good in black and white. So.
Thanks, but I can do the 2nd Doctor for that.
That's true. All right. But we've been a little lazy in this, but anyway. Besides the 8th Doctor,
okay,
which Doctor would you want to listen to on Big Finish for a whole series, new and classic? So picking a classic one and a new one. So, we've been a little lazy lately, but, we're listening to the series, or the 8th Doctor on Big Finish, because he has lots and lots of stories, and we've kind of been listening straight through. I know there's other Doctors on Big Finish, obviously, but they don't necessarily have storylines in order, per se. So if you could pick a classic Doctor who you'd listen to, like, a whole season of stories, and a new Doctor you'd listen to a whole season of stories on Big Finish, who do you think it would be?
I think 7.
Okay.
Possibly 3. I'm not mad at 3. I like 3.
Mm-hmm.
So there's my classics.
I think with big, I'm not trying to, just know, it's not going to be, John Pertwee. Obviously, be someone doing the voice of John Pertwee.
The cute little fella.
John Coltrane. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cute little fella. He can do John Pertwee if he wants to, as long as he does it right. I'm okay with it. And then New Who, I think definitely 11. Although...
Now that, the news has come out in the past week that Chris Eccleston is going to be coming to Big Finish now.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. And I also wouldn't necessarily be mad about a 13.
Mm-hmm.
It might be interesting. Might give us a little more depth.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, those are my choices.
Okay. And you're sticking by.
Are you going with 6?
Well, no, I'm not, obviously.
I know.
But we still haven't listened to his redone finale. I'm interested in that.
Okay.
His regeneration story that we never got in real life.
Oh, right. Who would be the best Doctor to travel with?
Oh. So do you think I should answer this as it's just me, or that there's a group with us? Because I feel like with 13th Doctor, but it'd be cool to have a fam, though. If it's just you, I think it does change my answer if it's just me and the Doctor.
Oh, and you don't get their companions?
Right.
Yeah, let's do that.
Is it just me?
Yeah,
oh.
It might be me too.
Right. Ugh. Well, in that case. Well, we know the 11th Doctor handles married couples well.
Yeah.
I don't know, let me think. So, the best Doctor to travel with. I think 7 would be interesting.
Mm.
I'm trying to figure out who wouldn't insult me, and that obviously narrows the list a lot. So, 5th? Yeah. 5th would be... 5th, because I feel like he'd be the most relatable, Peter Davison. Except for the whole vegetable stuff on the collar. 5, 7, he's going to take you weird places and be cryptic about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go with 5. 5 is my choice. I feel he's the most relatable. It wouldn't be weird. Just be... cool.
Okay.
Who would you...
I think 11 would be my top choice again.
Mm-hmm. Are you just trying to be River?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been a great River.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I might go with the War Doctor.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of war going on.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I can handle it. What new Who companion would work best with the 8th Doctor?
Oh, so that's a specific one. So the 8th Doctor. So I have to think of him in my head. So Rose, yeah. I mean, she sort of would not be a no, but let me go backwards. Let's go with 13th Doctors, folks. With the 8th Doctor, I think Yaz could be a possibility. Bill, they would be fine, but she would not be my pick for the 8th Doctor necessarily. Clara, nah. Amy, nah. And then all the 10th Doctor. I don't know if Don would be a little much for the 8th Doctor. Martha, maybe. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with...
Yaz?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Yaz. Yaz for the 8th Doctor. Sorry, I had to get like all of them in my head.
Yeah.
I need to write it down like you always tell me.
Yeah, I know. I know. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Bill Potts might be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly if you think about somebody like Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And even the other girl from 2 Pints of Lager. Yeah, no. I'm sticking with Bill.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bill would be fun. All right.
Okay. Who's your favorite classic Doctor and why?
7 for Ace.
Nothing about him, just that he has a campaign that you like.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I like him all right. I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of him. I'm thoroughly enjoying 3.
Mm-hmm.
Although, and partially because of the absurdity of it. You know, his need for fight scenes and everything, and to have fancy cars, and yeah, I kind of like his indulgence. It makes me laugh.
What would be the vehicle you'd want to ride in the most? Would it be Bessie, or would it be the hovercraft?
No, those things are weird. It'd be Bessie, and I could play with the horn. Honk, 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 honk. Which Doctor, any era, would you want in a 2-Doctor special with 13?
Oh, okay. I have to actually... Sorry, I wrote these, but it's 13, but it has to be... Oh, it's one more other Doctor. So
yeah.
Who do you want for the 13th Doctor? Any era. Oh. Well, I think just for the sake of argument, I'm going to try to avoid any recent ones. Not that they... Obviously, in the real world, that's who you would get, because they're, presumably would look like themselves. But I'm sort of going to use a little imagination here about who I think would either work best or not best. I mean, we get the we don't like each other Doctors enough. Like, who would work, it'd be the sort of like the 50th where we don't like each other for 2 seconds, but then we work fine well together. So, with 13, I'm leaning towards 7. Let me think it out in my head here. 5th would be 2 blonde together. 4th is too weird. He doesn't work well with people. Bad team player. 2. So I'm going to say between 2 and 7... With the 13th Doctor, I'll go 7, just because I haven't seen him. He was never in a multi-Doctor special, so I'm going to give him 1. So I'll say the 7th Doctor with 13.
Okay.
Because it'd be, you could, if you wanted to, because the whole conspiratorial side of the 7th, not conspiratorial, but there's always a grand chess game going on with the 7th Doctor. But I think with the 13th Doctor and this whole Gallifrey business, I wave my hand as I say that, there could be some sort of exploration more into the history of the Gallifrey and Time Lords and all that. It could be some ancient thing where they have to go together, and so I'd say 13 and 7. And then, Ace could be part of the fam.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Ryan would be fascinated by her.
I thought you said we couldn't play with guns.
It's not a gun. I'd go with War Doctor.
Okay.
I think there'd be a lot of room for conflict, but not necessarily dislike of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
What would be his nickname for her? Rainbow Bright.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Who would you like to spend tea time with? Russell T. Davies, Stephen Moffat, or Chris Chibnall?
It's hard. It's very difficult. And I don't know enough about Chris, so he's not necessarily in my running. Because you want to chill with someone who you know a little bit more about. Stephen, to me, I'm sure that Stephen and Russell are both writers, of course. I just think Stephen more as a writer, and that's probably unfair, than Russell. But Russell has obviously done a lot and seen a lot, and obviously brought Doctor Who back. And So I'm going to go ahead and lean just as from the writing aspect to Stephen Moore, because we just have a writing discussion. Not that Russell probably wouldn't have a lot to say too, but Stephen Moffat, I think.
Okay. I would sort of go with the same, so I would join you.
Okay. Oh, well, do you have to?
Does that change your answer?
It does, obviously. All right. So the final 2 questions, darling. Final 2 questions.
Okay.
I'll go here. Which companion, I meant actress, or actor. Which companion besides Katie Manning would you like to hear from the most during a box set extra? So in other words, the Blu-ray specials, we had the Third Doctor, we got to hear a lot of extras, and Katie Manning provided a lot of commentary, a lot of good stuff. But so which companion would you like to hear the most stories from in a Blu-ray extra?
I think Pearl Mackie.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly because she had such an interesting group with Matt, what's his name?
Yes.
And Missy and Peter Capaldi. I just think it's an interesting, eclectic group of people. So, yeah, I'm going to go Pearl Mackie. I'd like to hear her stories. And because, comparatively speaking, she was so much younger. Mm-hmm. And so it'd be an interesting perspective. I'd also love to hear the stories of River Song. So, yeah. What era of Doctor Who would you like to be part of creatively? And how?
Well, obviously the writing aspect. This probably wouldn't be my real answer, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to pick a classic era. Just because the writing is something we struggle with because of the 4-parters or 5-parters or 6-parters or 7-parters. But I think it also leaves you more time to play with characters. So, a stereotype would be that in New Who, we explore our characters more, our companions more, deeper thinking about their home life, where they come from. And while that's probably true as a broad strokes, we certainly had more time to do it in the classic era. When you have 4 parts and there's not necessarily a story that is 4 parts, you could have time to explore your characters more. I mean, they just didn't. I'm not because maybe they didn't want to. Just it wasn't how things were done, probably, or it's
yeah. So you want to take a missed opportunity.
Yeah. So I would think, which era would I have to want to write for? Well, I feel like it's the one that would want to help the most, that needs it, 5th Doctor era. Just because, I like the character, I like some of the companions, I wasn't even going to say most. I just think we need better stories to explore those. So, I'll say the Davison era, which I assume is JNT, but, be one of the story editors or writers or whatever they called themselves back then, writing stories.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, I want to be River Song.
Which era, though? That's several eras. 10th, 11, and 12.
I think probably 11, because she's got the most stories in that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a director, but I'm not in any way, shape, or form a film director. Mm-hmm. And that's not something I'm particularly interested in. The things that I like about directing are talking about character and staging things to look just right. And I think that film directing is not something that I would particularly enjoy. So,
well, we met with Jamie Childs, and
yes.
So you don't have to be responsible for figuring out how to do a rigging of the construction site and having to.
Yeah, I mean that's just not an aspect of creativity that I am particularly interested in exploring. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I want to make pictures. I want to really talk about character, mm-hmm. and I think with filming and I imagine that there are some films and some television programs where you get that opportunity, but they're fewer and farther in between, and a lot of times they're pretentious. So I don't want to make that choice. So yeah, it would be as an actor, and I think probably the 11th Doctor, the 10th Doctor. I would want you writing for the 13th Doctor, because somebody needs to be.
Oh, goodness.
Yep.
All right, well, with that, let's go into the TARDIS library.
Whoosh, 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 whoosh.
When you close your eyes,
I go to the library.
Go to the library now.
All right, into the TARDIS library. We're going to talk about I'll say older, it's 5 years old, an older television series, Fortitude. that stars a few Doctor Who and other sci-fi alums, most notably Christopher Eccleston. The first episode premiered 29 January 2015. Would you like to read just a series synopsis?
Sure. On the Norwegian Arctic island of Fortitude, things appear calm on the surface, but a string of violent and increasingly strange deaths slowly exact a toll on the quiet international community where almost everyone appears to be keeping at least one secret.
Yes, Broad Church of the North.
Oh my God, yes! As I was reading that, I was like, this is just a really cold Broadchurch.
So I was trying to look, at, stuff, look at series that had other Doctor Who actors. This is Chris Eccleston. We'll talk about his role. It's spoilery, but it's the first episode, so everyone can get over it. General thoughts about, because we watched 2 episodes.
Yes.
I think it's a 12 episode in that first series. But anyway, what do you think of Fortitude before we get into individual characters on there?
I don't want to watch it anymore. I don't know if you're going to continue watching it. We did do the first 2 episodes. And it's just not my thing, I think. There is nothing that particularly grabbed me. So there's nobody that I'm particularly rooting for or particularly really interested in finding out more about. It's an interesting idea. We've got polar bears, and we've got a woolly mammoth jaw, and strange deaths, and that guy's brother from Star Trek, Picard.
Yeah. Stanley Tucci
shows up. Yeah, so lots of... I'm not suggesting it's bad. It is just not my thing.
And what do you think makes it different from, say, a Broadchurch, which you watched for 3 series?
I think part of it was simply I knew more people.
Oh, okay.
To be honest. I was interested...
Because it's not... I mean, it's a BBC show, but it's not sort of a British show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's... Even if they're British actors, they're all playing Icelandic.
Yeah, which is fine, but,
Norwegian, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Broadchurch had Olivia Colman and David Tennant and Arthur Darvill, all of whom I had some familiarity, and, of course, the third First Doctor, and so there were faces that I recognized, and maybe that's not the key thing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you like what you like. Just spotlight a few characters or actors here. Hopefully I'm saying all these correctly.
You will not be, I can guarantee it.
Alexandra Moen, who plays PC Petra Bergen. She was Lucy Saxon.
Okay.
So she was we only watched the first 2 episodes, so not really a breakout part, but it's just like, hey, wait, that's Lucy Saxon playing the PC in there. So that was one part there. Who you already alluded to, Luke Treadway. That's supposed to be an R there. Treadaway. He plays Vincent Rattery, and I have him as not Harry, because I can't tell the difference between the brothers.
They're twins.
Yes, because Luke, who we watched, won for the on the West End for what we were talking about the other night, Curious Incident.
Oh, right. Okay. Huh.
So he was in.
Okay. And then his twin brother, Harry, is the one that's in Star Trek Picard.
And other stuff, which I was just reading on Wiki or something, that Luke, who we watched in Fortitude, is married, or at least, from Wikipedia's, if it's accurate, was that he lives with his wife, and I think 2 children, and twin brother Harry. I was just like, oh, okay. One of these days you'll get on your own, Harry.
Yeah. Twins are a strange, I can't think, are there any other examples? Of
twin actors,
of twin
there's one who's successful with it.
Absolutely.
And there's certainly brothers and sisters and all that, but twins. I mean,
think
I'm sure
Scarlett Johansson has a twin. Ashton Kutcher definitely does. So as you say, there are people, but particularly identical twins.
Yes.
Identical twins who are both going out as actors.
Doing well, yeah. Because I think Luke, I'm sure they're successful in other ways, but Luke tends to be more theater than Harry. Harry tends to be a little more TV, but obviously Luke's on TV here. That's why we're talking about him. But
it's a strange, unusual, Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know of twins who are actors, I mean, there's obviously Lindsay Lohan and her twin, but they were just together in The Parent Trap, so I don't think the other twin has done anything since then.
Exactly. Oh, boy, this one.
Which obviously brings us back to Haley Mills and her twin in the original Parent Trap. And same, the other twin never did anything else.
Also in...
Oh, I know.
Okay.
The Sprouse kids. Cole and Dylan Sprouse. Cole is in Riverdale at the minute.
Okay.
He plays Jughead. But they were like baby twins. They were the twins. Were they the twins in Full House?
I was about to say, that did bring up Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, you know, not much these days, but I mean, that they would count. You know,
yeah.
At least child actors.
Yeah,
they were twins.
I mean, these guys are in their mid-20s and they're still doing that. They did the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
There was a Disney thing that was in the back of my head when you said that.
Yeah. And I think they were also Ben in Friends.
Sister. I don't know the name of those two women.
Oh, yes. Tia and
Tamara.
Tamara Mowry, maybe. Yeah. Okay, so we're coming up with options, but none of those, except for the Sprouse boys, are grown up.
Right, yes. Adult actors,
yeah.
Who are independently successful, not just as a twin show.
Yeah, the Olsons obviously did everything pretty much together, and now they don't act very much anymore, if at all. They've passed that down to their younger sister. The two Mowry girls, I know one of them had a talk show, but I don't think they're really acting much anymore. Like I said, Cole Sprouse has got a show at the minute. I think Dylan Sprouse is dating a supermodel or something. I don't know. I know. Then we just came up with a bunch. Sorry. We went a little sideways on that one.
Another actress is Jessica Raine, obviously more known for Call the Midwife, but she plays the character Emma Grayling. She was also in the 11th Doctor episode Hyde, but maybe a little more memorable as Verity Lambert in An Adventure in Space and Time.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, she's sort of, if we're playing Broadchurch, she plays the mother. She plays Jodie Whittaker.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's useful.
I'm making that up. They're not straight.
It's not a straight comparison at all. But
I'm going to skip that.
The mother of a sick/dead child.
Yes, I'm going to skip that for a second. It goes to Sir Michael Gambon, who plays Henry Tyson. Very mysterious role. I mean, other than he's dying of liver cancer. I don't want to say a drunk, but, he's
he's a drunk because...
Of the incident?
Yeah,
the first episode starts with him sort of walking down the, I'll say beach ice, it's all ice, so walking down the ice beach.
Walking down the ice beach.
And discovering a body, which looks like, because I'm adding the mysterious, looks like it was eaten by a bear. And he goes to, I guess, shoot the bear, but ends up shooting the guy who...
Yeah, it wasn't a body. The guy was alive. He was screaming.
He looked like he was,
he was on his way out, and the bear is attacking him, and Michael Gambon aims the gun at the bear and misses and hits the guy, which... Yeah. To a certain extent is a mercy killing. Yeah. But then the sheriff is all of a sudden...
Pops out of nowhere.
Yeah, there already, and is just like, go home, I'll deal with this. And then in the second death, the sheriff is also there.
He shows up, pops
and
up
it's like, I'm taking care of that. Yeah,
sketchy.
Very sketchy. But yeah, so Michael Gambon is drinking himself to death, and he's been told that he really needs to leave Fortitude because he's dying, and they don't want to take care of him.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I'm sure, I don't know if there was they don't have medical facilities, so if you're dying, you get kicked off the island or something. I mean, you're not kicked off, you're, go to the mainland, but,
kicked off.
Yeah. And he, of course, played, among many things, but at least Doctor Who related, Kazran Sardik in the Christmas Carol, Christmas special.
Yep.
And we come to Christopher Eccleston, who brought me to the series, who plays Professor Charles Stoddart. And gets killed at the end of the first episode.
Yep.
Spoilers.
Yep.
No. I mean,
shows up as a body in the second episode. Although, actually, in the second episode, it turns out he's alive, and then he dies.
Yeah. That's Christopher. Never keep him down.
Yeah.
But, I think he shows up, flashbacks. I don't think he comes back to life a third time. But anyway,
you never know.
So, you know.
Maybe it's a vampire story. I don't know.
So anyway,
Unfortunately, I just don't care enough to find out.
If Chris hadn't died, would you be interested?
I don't think so. Just because, again, I don't have any affection for any of the characters. Like, none of them. The ones that, like Emma Grayling, who you have sympathy for. Her son is sick and her husband's a cheating bastard. I have sympathy for that, but I don't know enough. Like, I didn't get to spend enough time with her to have any reason to root for her. And everybody else seems really dreadful. So, yeah, no. There's just nobody to root for.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this won't be our main topic, but just to give everyone a heads up so they can also watch along too, is for our library entry next week, we'll be talking about the latest Clever Dick Films production, focusing on a companion. He focuses on Jamie.
Jamie! I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So check it out on YouTube if you haven't already, Clever Dick Films. He's also on Twitter now. And watch his companion focus on Jamie of the Second Doctor era. And we'll talk about that next week. But until then, keep enjoying the Doctor's many adventures throughout
Time and space.
This is BBC Television.